Let's face it, most people hate their jobs, and for me, that applied for the longest time. I was making minimum wage folding pants at Tommy Hilfiger and The Gap, and I was also making coffee as a barista, all while trying to become a profitable and successful trader. And eventually, once I learned about FTMO, my goal changed from trying to grow my own small personal account to becoming a funded trader, having hundreds of thousands of dollars under management so that I could make a ton of money. It took me years, what felt like forever, but eventually I became a funded trader. I quit my job, and for 2 years, I lived solely off of trading income without a single dollar coming from any outside source. But it took me over 5 years to get there. I spent over $10,000 on Forex courses, and I blew countless accounts. So I am here to help you get there faster and cheaper. In this video, we're going to break down 5 tips on how to use funding, challenges, and companies to quit your job. Number 1, going against a lot of mainstream tips and advice is to not put all of your eggs in one basket. What I mean by that is if you're going to quit your job starting today, whether you are profitable or not as a trader, you need to begin saving up 6 to 12 months of living expenses. And I recommend you never, ever quit your job to try and pursue full-time trading if you haven't done so. The market is completely erratic. You might have a phenomenal trading week. You might not make another dollar from trading for the next month or 2 months. And having that nest egg, 6 months to me isn't enough. Having 12 months, a full year of living expenses saved up is going to allow you to be a much better trader because you no longer are reliant on needing to make money next week to pay the bills, to keep a roof over your head, and to have food in your stomach. There are 1.5 million ways to make money outside from trading. If you are on prop firm Twitter, I hope you are, because it's an interesting and engaging space. You'll be able to see that there are a ton of business opportunities within the prop firm industry and the trading industry that aren't being just a trader. And I'm not talking about just courses. I'm talking about tons of side things and businesses that can help prop firms. I'm going on a bit of a tangent. I digress. Aside from trading in business on Twitter, you can find so many ideas. I'm constantly scrolling and I'm constantly saying no to ideas to focus on Lark, but there's so many good ideas out there. So I highly encourage, recommend you save 12 months of living expenses starting today. Number 2 is to get objective. You need to figure out exactly how much money you can realistically make every single month, and then you backtrack and figure out how much funding you need to obtain. Everybody wants to make 10% every month. Everybody wants to make 30% to make a ton of money from trading, but you need to come back down to earth a little bit, realize that long term, if you're going to be risk managed, these aren't realistic figures. How much can you make every month? When I first became a funded trader, again, I'm very conservative. I'm very risk averse. So I said I can make no problem 2% a month. 2% is very realistic, especially considering that I was only risking 0.5% on most trades. So when I first became a funded trader, I said, okay, how much do I need to keep the lights on? And for me, that was $2,000 US. I'm in Canada, so $2,000 US, was $2,500, $2,800 Canadian. That was plenty of money. My rent was like $625. I didn't go out. It was COVID. I could really live cheap. So if I could make 2% a month, that was plenty of money. So really, knowing that, I only needed $100,000 worth of funding. 2% on that 100K account was $2,000 US. Yes, there's profit splits and everything, but roughly the general idea is that I only needed $100,000. But I was 20 at the time, no kids, not married, still don't have kids. But I didn't have that many responsibilities, right? I didn't have a lot of expenses. Whereas if you're a bit older and you have a mortgage to pay, if you have kids, if you have a whole bunch of responsibilities, car payments, all that stuff, life gets in the way, and so you need more money. Now, that doesn't mean that you should aim for a higher percentage return every month. It means that you need to aim for more capital. If you want to make the big bucks and be here long term, it's about having more capital and not just increasing your monthly return. So if you need to make $5,000 a month, 5% is kind of pushing it if you're going to quit your job. So what if you had $200,000 worth of funding? Well, if you make 2.5% a month, then you're going to have enough money to keep the lights on and to pay the bill. So definitely get objective. Saying that every month consistently you can make over 5%, for me, that is a lot. if you want to be risk managed, if you want to maintain that funded account. So sub 5% is the sweet spot in my opinion, and just figure out how much you need to make. This is a complete game changer because once you get objective, you can then start working towards that goal of knowing exactly what you need to do, and you can just go do it. Okay, number 3, you need to determine what is the best firm for you. Now, of course, I'm posting this video on the Lark Funding channel. We really believe in Lark Funding and we would love to have you. We believe in what it is that we are offering traders, both traders that are taking our challenge, traders that are being funded. But like the previous recommendation, I'm gonna get objective here. You need to ask yourself, what firm is going to be the best for you? There's a lot of different things. This was an easier debate just a few weeks ago when there were still prop firms like FTMO, MyForex funds that had time limits. Never go for a prop firm that has a time limit, but now the big boys no longer have time limits. So that's one. But ask yourself, what kind of trader are you? Are you a scalper, swing trader, intraday trader? If you're a scalper, then that is going to lead to a much more important reliance on commissions, right? You're taking a ton of trades, so commissions are going to be something that you're going to want to look at. Spreads and execution is going to be a much more important factor for you than if you're a swing trader who's holding trades for 5 days, right? If you have a little bit more spread and slippage, then it's not going to be as big of a deal. Also ask yourself, how much experience do you have? Personally, in my opinion, if you are a little bit newer to prop firm challenges, I think the 2-stage challenge is the way that you're going to want to go. This higher maximum drawdown and typically a smaller profit target. At Lark Funding, our phase 1 profit target is 8%. Whereas if you're a little bit more experienced, I still think our 1-stage program is kind of the creme de la creme. It's still really great. Yes, you have a tighter drawdown. 6% doesn't trail though, but it's only 1 stage. It's so simple. You make that 10%, boom, you're a funded trader. It is so simple. So you want to ask yourself those things as well. And then of course, there's pricing. Now, I do want to say something important on pricing. Yes, pricing is very important, but if you are a profitable trader, you know that you're going to receive that funded account, you'll receive a payout. Shouldn't be taking a challenge if you're not there yet. So again, it's an investment. So price shouldn't be the most important. And I just want to say a cautionary word on new firms that just are racing to the bottom on price. Is Lark Funding the cheapest? No. It is not. We do run a lot of promotions currently. Our 100K challenge is $420 with our promotion, which was one of the best price challenges in the industry. But again, you don't want to go for a firm that's just racing to the bottom on price, because it would suck to earn a funded account and then have the company go under. We all know that this has happened with multiple companies, so it's something that you need to consider. And lastly, reputation and customer service. Customer service is something that I think a lot of firms overlook. It is something that we put a huge reliance on at Lark Funding. It's easy to say you have the best customer support, but we like to back it up. So for example, we had a trader that needed to pay his university fees. He was up several $1,000s on his funded account, but he needed $500 to pay his university. He was still 28 days from his withdrawal date, from his payout date. We still sent him the money. That is actual good trader support. No, we can't do it for absolutely everyone. There's a reason that we have withdrawal dates and payout dates, but when we can help out, that's what we want to do. Trader support is one of those things where you don't care about it until you need it. So that's something to consider. And lastly, of course, you want to see there is payout proof that firms are paying out. So those are a few high-level things that I recommend that you guys think about. Again, the debate is changing so quickly, especially that because firms are becoming commoditized, you want to look more at those like smaller, unique features that are going to help you as a trader, but only you know what it is that you truly need to succeed. So definitely look around. And it's about not just picking one firm, it's about picking like your top 3 firms, because again, you want to obtain as much funding as you possibly can. Okay, on to tip number 4. To quit your job and become a funded trader, you need to shift from just taking any kind of trades to taking only A+ setups. Let me tell you exactly what I did when I was trading my funded FTMO account. That made a massive difference both in my results and my psychology. I became way less stressed. So when you have a funded account, you obviously want to take as many trades as possible so you can make more money. We always fall in love with setups that we think are going to be great. But I asked myself one question that made a huge difference. I would ask myself every time I wanted to take a trade, if this was a losing trade, if I take this trade and it goes on to be a loser and I lose my funded account, could I live with it? And it's such a simple question, but it immediately filtered out the A+ setups from anything that was not an A+ setup. Because if I envisioned me taking this trade and losing it, could I live with myself? Could I be satisfied and know that, This is just part of trading. It just is one of those setups that was great. It just didn't work out. Or would I be so frustrated and mad at myself for taking a trade that didn't follow my trading plan, that wasn't A+, that had X, Y, and Z reason for why I shouldn't have taken it? And so by asking yourself this simple question, it's going to allow you to filter out the A+ setups from the ones that simply you shouldn't be taking. It's about quality over quantity when you have that funded account. Even on your challenge account, now that there are no time limits, it's not about taking tons of trades all the time. It's about taking trades that are going to have the highest probability of working out. Another question that I always ask myself is, in my mind, what is the perfect setup? For me, it was a daily setup with 3+ confluences. If I had that, if it turned out to be a loser, I could live with it because it was such a strong setup. So ask yourself that question, and I hope that it will make as much of a dramatic change in your trading as it did for me. Number 5 goes against the previous number 1 recommendation of getting objective. This is to get subjective. Okay, at this point, at stage number 5, you have 12 months of living expenses saved up. I hope you do. Even if you're not a trader and somehow you stumble across this video, everyone should have a year's worth of expenses saved up. 55% of Americans can't afford an unexpected bill of $1,000. That is a video for another day. Saving is so important. So you have 12 months living expenses saved up. You have earned a funded account. You're consistent. You are making money. It's at this point that you need to determine, is trading full-time something that you actually want to pursue? And if it is it the right time? Now, for me, I needed to put myself against a wall. I needed to put my back against a wall because when I had a job and I didn't need to make money from trading, I never was going 100% in. Sometimes I would sleep in past my alarm. I wouldn't check the charts. I would miss this trade. I would mess around, not follow my trading plan because I didn't need to make money. But when I decided to quit my job and say, you know what? I am moving out from my parents' place. I'm going to pursue this trading thing. I'm not going to get another job because I have a 12 months of living expenses saved up. I put my back against a wall. I wasn't even a funded trader yet. I had just learned about FTMO, but I went all in and it was the best decision that I ever made. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was incredibly stressful. For 3 or 4 months, I was burning through money, paying for challenges, paying for living expenses, not doing anything fancy, but just every month, boom, savings dropping. It was super stressful, but it worked out because I forced myself to make it work. For some of you watching, you're going to need to do the same. I don't want to recommend that to everyone. It's not a blanket recommendation because if you have responsibilities, if you have people that are reliant on you, you don't want to blow up your life. Trading is so difficult. It's so unpredictable. The market will work exactly in your favor one day and then it won't the next. It is so ruthless. But if you want to be a successful trader, for some of you watching, this might resonate with you. You're going to just need to force yourself to put yourself up against a wall and make it work. Those are 5 tips on how to use funding companies to quit your job. These are the 5 things that I used while doing it myself, and in hindsight, I should have used a little bit more. I hope this video was valuable to you guys. Please, I would highly appreciate it if you dropped a comment down below. Let me know what you think, if you agree, if you disagree. I always appreciate the feedback. At Lark Funding, we always appreciate the feedback. In the description, we'll have the most active giveaways and promos that we are running. As always, thank you guys for watching. We will see you in the next one. And until then, peace.